Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel. Now guys, it looks as though Malam Buhari has taken time off from running Nigeria to the ground, poverty capital of the world and all that, the Fulani herdsmen, Boko Haram, etc. So he's taking time off from doing all this to give the Igbos a slap down. So there's nothing we obviously know that Malam Buhari loves more than to give an Igbo man a kicking. So he has taken time off from running the country to the ground to give the Igbos a slap down. So guys, I bring you this. Tell your friends to forget Biafra. Buhari tells Igbo corpers. So that's the headline. Tell your friends to forget Biafra. Buhari tells Igbo corpers. So now to the body of the story. President Muhammadu Buhari has urged the National Youth Service Corps members of Igbo extraction to tell their colleagues that there is no hope of having a sovereign Biafran state. Buhari said this when over 100 corps members serving in Katsina State came to visit him at his Daura residence on Tuesday. A statement by his Senior Special Assistant on Media and Publicity, Mr. Garba Shehu, said the president urged the corps members to do everything to ensure the unity of Nigeria. Speaking specifically to corps members from the southeastern states, the president said, "Tell your colleagues who want Biafra to forget about it." The president said as a young soldier during the Civil War between 1967 and 1970, he fought hard to ensure the unity of the nation. He, therefore, maintained that Nigeria would never disintegrate under his watch. Buhari added, "As a military commander, I worked from Degem, a border town between the north and the east, to the border between Cameroon and Nigeria. I walked on my foot for most of the 30 months that we fought the Nigeria-Biafra Civil War, in which at least 2 million Nigerians were killed. We were made by our leaders to go and fight Biafra, not because of money or oil, because oil was not a crucial factor then, but because of one Nigeria. First, if leadership at various levels failed, it is not the fault of the rest of Nigerians who had no quarrel with one another. So, please tell your colleagues that we must be together to build this country. It is big enough for us and potentially big enough in terms of resources. Those who work hard will earn a respectable living. I have seen this country, I have fought for this country, and I will continue to work for the unity of this country." Buhari hailed former military head of state, General Yakubu Gowon, for inaugurating the NYNC scheme in 1973. He said the scheme had helped to foster national integration by exposing young people to the uniqueness and cultural diversity of Nigeria. The president said, "I asked for those from the other end of Nigeria because I very much appreciate the NYSC scheme, and whenever I see General Gowon, I always thank him for that." And that, by the way, is not the only thing that Gowon did. Gowon also was the one that initiated Abuja as the federal capital territory of Nigeria. So that's another string in his bow. We carry on. In his remark, Mr. Egbewumi Adebolu, the liaison officer in Daura, thanked the president for the honor of receiving them and making their stay in Daura memorable. He said the youth strongly believed in the program of the president to reduce unemployment and create jobs for more Nigerians. Adebolu thanked the president for his personal gift of cows, bags of rice, and cash to the corps members in the community for Salah celebration. But reacting to the directive of the president to the corps members, the movement for the actualization of the sovereign state of Biafra said Nigeria had never been a nation. Mossab spokesman, Comrade Samuel Edison, who spoke in an interview with a correspondent, insisted that all Igbo, including those NYSC members that met Buhari, are Biafrans. Every Igbo man is a Biafran. Biafra has come to stay, and Buhari should know that 95% of Igbo want Biafra. We are not going to take up arms against the Nigerian government, but we will make the country ungovernable until we actualize Biafra. There is no way we will forget Biafra, and there is nothing the government will do that will make us to give up the struggle. Even when they continue to oppress and intimidate our members, we will continue to push ahead with the struggle, he said. The Mossad spokesman advised Buhari to call a meeting of all ethnic nationalities where Nigeria's future would be discussed. He said, rather than telling NYSC members to tell their people to forget Biafra, he should call the Biafra agitators and other ethnic nationalities to a roundtable meeting to discuss how Nigeria would continue to live together, or rather how Nigerians would continue to live together. Also to the development, the Ohaneze Indigbo said Buhari should restructure the country if he really wants the pro-Biafra agitation to go away. The president of Ohaneze Youth Council, Mazi Okechukwu, sorry, I'm not going to attempt his last name because I'm very bad with Igbo names, so I'll just go with Mazi Okechukwu, also said Buhari should set free all detained Biafra agitators, particularly Ben Owuka, the leader of Biafra Zionist movement. He said Buhari should ask himself why the Biafra agitation resurrected during his tenure. He should also explain what he meant by 95% and 5%. The people of the Southeast are angry and there's hunger in the land. There is a total collapse of infrastructure in the zone. Federal roads are no longer passable. The Southeast zone has the highest number of unemployed youths in the country. Those NYSC members that went to see him will be unemployed tomorrow. The only solution to the agitation for Biafra is restructuring. Ohaneze Indigbo is not calling for secession, but we are calling for restructuring. The Northwest has 7 states, but the Southeast has only 5. It is not acceptable. If Buhari fails to restructure the country, we are afraid that those calling for secession may succeed. So if he really wants Igbos to forget Biafra, he should restructure the country. So there you have it now. I think the drum beat of the Biafra movement is now resonating really roundly round Buhari, and it's not something that he can ignore anymore. And he knows that this movement is especially rather has fervor within the youth, and really that is the most potent demography in the country, because you have young, vibrant, energized, educated people who have no employment and who are repressed and oppressed, and really they are now looking to the people repressing and oppressing them and saying, look, we don't really think that we can continue to go with these people because they have nothing to offer us, and we have sufficient within ourselves to stand by ourselves. So we want our own nation. This is what they said they want. They want their own nation. Sudan split up, and you had Southern Sudan and Northern Sudan. So there's nothing set in stone, and the Nigerian entity is a British contraption. It's not something that's always been there. So it's a contraption made up of disparate nations, because the Northerners are a nation unto themselves, the Easterners are a nation unto themselves, and the Yorubas are a nation unto themselves. And there's really no commonality in terms of our being, our culture, and how we are, and our outlook on life. there's no real commonality between somebody from Oyo State, for instance, and somebody from Borno. Somebody from Borno has more affinity with somebody from Chad, somebody from Niger, that kind of places, than somebody from Oyo State, of course. And somebody from Oyo State will probably have more affinity with somebody from Togo or somebody from Lagos than somebody from Borno. They don't even have an affinity really with somebody from Enugu, because they eat yellow gari, we eat white gari. There's complete difference. We speak different languages. We have a different outlook on life. So there's no real commonality. So this contraption called Nigeria is really something that cannot hold under the present dispensation or under the present arrangement. This is something that everybody is aware of. But who is brave enough now to tackle it as a topic or as a piece of work is really something now that is the key question, because we are all aware now that the Nigeria as it is configured now is not something that can and has or will work. We all know this. Buhari knows this. I know this. You listening to my voice know this. Everybody knows this. Now, that's not to say Nigeria should break up, but maybe we should have some sort of a confederation where we have different nations coming together under a unified umbrella, and then the center is a loose center that has only really like loose powers, but really you have control of your own domain. This is really the future direction of that country, because we cannot carry on under this arrangement where Fulani headsmen will say they want to have supervision over the Igbo land and all this kind of behavior. You have people rolling cattle all over the Yoruba land, intimidating Yoruba people in their. We cannot have it as it is now. So now this thing that Buhari is saying to the youth corpers of Igbo extraction, that go and tell your people to forget about Biafra, this is just whistling in the wind. This is just, it might well have not uttered those words because they're just empty and nonsense. They're just vacuous. It has no meaning. You are not going to say that and then they will go back and say suddenly we forget Biafra. That's not going to happen. So we all know that is not going to happen. But then what is leading to that agitation really is what needs to be addressed, rather than say that you fought a Biafra war and therefore there's no Biafra anymore and all this kind of nonsense. Biafra is an idea that has never died since it was started, since it took root with Ojukwu and all that stuff. Is something that the Igbos have always wanted. They've always wanted to go their own way. So if they've always wanted to go their own way and they're not going their own way, then they are really being held against their will. So really, this is where the conversation is. So how is it then going to be the case that they can continue to be Nigerians and not be held against their own will, is what that agitation for Biafra is. So it's not some empty-headed Malame guy, so from Daura, telling the youth corpers to go and tell their colleague to forget Biafra. That's not really where the conversation is. The conversation is at the root cause of what's led to this agitation. It's a sectionalism, victimization rather, oppression, the questions of the unresolved questions of the Biafra war, all this marginalization out of the rulership of the country, no sense of belonging. These are all this is where that agitation is. It's not that, oh, I fought Biafra war and not this nonsensical nonsense that this silly man, it defies, it mind boggles that we have this kind of person purporting to be the president of our country. Conversations in the comment section, that is what I am inviting. What are you making of the message that Buhari is sending to the Igbo people via the youth corpers that have come to visit him? He's even dashing them cash. Where is he getting the cash from? Is it from his salary or is it from government coffers? But we all know this. The government, the CBN is their personal bank account, so they can dash anything to anybody and give them cows, So this is the goings on. So come join me in the comment section to have a conversation about this. But before you come join me in the comment section to have that conversation, click on the red subscribe button so it turns gray, bell button, that way you are notified every time I drop a new video. Then come tell me what you are making of what Malami said in the comment section. So I'll leave you here, meet you in the comment section, but here I say peace.